Yeah, let's hope no more bottles are thrown, shall we? But yeah, massive opportunity for Liverpool, as we said, and hopefully they can go there and get the 3 points and really chase down the top four. And with that, we'll pick our team selector then for the visit to Newcastle. Doyley, we'll come to you first. Alisson Becker, as ever, will be between the sticks. But for once, we've actually got quite a lot to talk about in this team selector, haven't we? So if you want to talk us through your back four.
Well, it's straightforward, isn't it? Van Dijk will come in, probably for Matip. Gomez had a good game against Everton, so there's no reason. He probably has earned the place there, basically on form. And it's Robertson left back and Alexander-Arnold right back.
Nice and simple. Theo, is there a case for resting Van Dijk for Real Madrid, or are you throwing him straight back in?
Why would you rest him when he's had a month off? I know it's been rehab, but you don't want to throw him in cold against Real Madrid. He needs a game to get back to some sort of level. Like we saw, not mistake, but Liverpool last year for the Champions League final, they had a number of players. They rushed back from injury. We think Fabinho, Salah, though he came on in the last day against Wolves. I think Van Dijk was an unused substitute for that one. And Thiago had pain-killing injections, and Liverpool weren't at their best in that final. Fortunately, the players are back from injury are back a bit sooner now, so you can give them minutes to get them ready for these games. And even if they're not 100% to start or whatever at Anfield against Real Madrid next week, they will be for the second leg in the Bernabeu. So obviously you start Van Dijk for this one. He's had that time on the sidelines. He's done his rehab. Klopp said he's fit to start. He starts.
Yeah, hopefully be absolutely rocking at Anfield as well. And Van Dijk will be back to his usual self after a little trip to Newcastle. Rich, if you want to talk us through your back four, then into the midfield, as I presume it may be a similar one to the lads.
Well, I kind of blew me cover right at the start, didn't I, with regards to Van Dijk, although not exactly insider trading, isn't it? I think he was always likely to be involved. So, yeah, Van Dijk comes back in. I haven't been overly impressed with Gomez or Matip, but last time out against Everton, I did think Gomez had a particularly good game, and he kept, he had a fairly inexperienced striker in terms of Ellis Sims to look after, but I thought he did that expertly. And on that year, only as good as your last game. On that basis, I'll keep him in alongside Van Dijk with Trent at right back and Andy Robertson at left back. Going into midfield, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Thought the midfield looked the best that it has in quite a while against Everton. So I just don't see any need to make any changes there. Stick with Bajicic, Fabinho and Henderson.
Doyley, what about your midfield? Klopp was asked today whether he's going to rest Bajicic or not. I mean, you've got to keep playing the young lad, haven't you? Surely.
Yeah, there's no point resting him. However, it is a big game next week. Fabinho and Henderson, I know they've been rested, but you don't want to run the rest too much. You've got quite a lot of midfielders there, so you may as well play another one. And I'd probably play Keita instead of Henderson.
Theo, how about yourself? Are you going to make any changes in the midfield? And if so, talk us through, and then also go on to your attack afterwards.
I think I'm going to go an unchanged midfield and agree with Rich. I think the fact that Jones and Oxlade-Chamberlain didn't make the squad probably suggests that we know their places in the pecking order. Same for Artemelo. So while there are 11 midfielders to choose from, it's really 5 or 6 that we think have got starting claims. And I don't see any reason to change it. Naby Keita is probably the first one who could come in. But Henderson against Newcastle, he's a Sunderland boy. He's going to be well up for that and want to dampen their party spirits. And Bajicic hasn't done anything wrong. Fabinho, if he plays the best game he's played in months, you want to stick with him, build on it. You don't want to do anything to deflate his bubble. And then the front three is probably the same as well. Nunes on the left, Gakpo down the middle, and Salah on the right. There have been a few questions asked. You look at that and go, why have they put the winger down the middle and why have they put the striker on the left? But we're starting to see glimpses now against Everton. Gakpo dropping deep. It was Firmino-esque-ish. Nunes' pace, electric on the left. We saw that, how he set up the first goal. It was reminiscent to Salah, Mane and Firmino from their peak years. So hopefully this could be the start of a new trio between them. And again, it's a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, hopefully so. I mean, Rich, it was, strange. I raised my eyebrows certainly when I saw that Nunes be down the left, Gakpo to the middle. I, for one, thought it would make sense the other way around. But they're really forming a nice little partnership, aren't they, on that left side of the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, I probably would have said the same. I was expecting Nunes to become sort of the focal point of this attack with his physicality. It hasn't been that way. I do think he'll stick with the same front three of Salah, Gakpo and Nunes in the same configuration. However, I've got my doubts that this is going to be the long-term front three with Jota and Firmino sniffing around now and ready to come in. And of course, if things don't go well against Newcastle in the first half, there's a likelihood we'll see some amends there. But better from Gabgo on Monday. We got his goal. It's just a tap-in, isn't it? But straight after that, you can see his confidence was right up, and he looked more like the player Liverpool supporters thought they were getting, and that's a good sign. And with Núñez as well, I was just so pleased with that first goal on Monday, that when he picked that ball up, he didn't just try and play a ball inside. He did play to his strengths and get a gallop on and get up the pitch, and by putting that work in and believing in what he's good at, he's ended up helping Liverpool get a goal, hasn't he? In which Salah was certainly due one. So yeah, same attacking trio, but I'm yet to be convinced that's how it's going to be long term.
Yeah, I think Núñez definitely needs a goal as well. I mean, Salah and Gakpo both needed a goal, to use the phrase, and they got them. Hopefully Núñez can notch one this weekend. Dorley, just to run us off then with your attack, is there any case, do you think, for starting Roberto Firmino or Diogo Jota, or are you sticking with the unchanged three?
You can't play Jota. He looked tired after about 5 minutes when he came on the other night. Firmino, interesting one, because I think if anything does change, it could be him coming in to start. But no, I think it'll be the same three.